Hi, Byron. I know obviously X's business is his business. You guys are friends and you don't want to get into that. But do you personally hope he returns just because we know how good you guys can be as a combo together? And that obviously makes your defense much better.
I would love to have him, of course, but like you said, it's none of my business. But we had fun last year. We balled out. Obviously, what he did was completely special and unlike anything I've ever seen before. And those skills are, we love those skills in our defense. So yes, we'd love to have him back, of course.
Thanks.
Other questions for Byron, guys? Travis?
Hey, Byron, it's good to see you again, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was curious at this stage of your career, you've been around the block, you've seen a lot of stuff in this league, but what are you working on now? Like what's the step that you've kind of identified for your game to go to the next level and how are you working to achieve that?
The dope thing about football, man, is you really have to start from ground one every single year. You got to start with the fundamentals, breaking 90 degrees, 45 degrees downhill, tracking the ball. For me, I'd love to work on my technique more and just be more of a technician and not rely just solely on my athleticism. And I also like to be more of a playmaker, get my head around and making more chances at the ball instead of batting them down, take those boys back to the house like X did last year. So, yeah, those are the things that I'm working on. But like I said, you really have to build from the ground up every single year. That's the fun part, really.
Yeah, and of course, and if I could follow up, Byron, at game day or practice, I always seem to notice you're off to the side getting extra work, whether it's pre-practice or between series. I'm just wondering, like, is that kind of like a routine-based thing for you? Is it kind of like drilling in those fundamentals and stuff? Like, what do you get out of that?
Yeah, so any chance I get, I try to work on something that I'm lacking. In the game, I'm really trying to stay warm and stay ready because that first play coming out of a series, they can come at you for a 40-yard fade ball. So you want to be ready. But in practice, I'm working on small things. So oftentimes I work with Chuck and we're doing looking over the shoulder, catching the ball at the high point. We'll just walk through some of the man coverages in terms of getting out of a break, 45 degrees downhill, a 90 degrees break, but just kind of slow things down, but allow yourself to work on the technique component of it.
Fantastic. Thanks, Byron.
You're welcome.
Gary?
Byron, you mentioned obviously about wanting to improve with ball hawking, playmaking. You were a good corner even before the interceptions, but did it feel good to get the 2 in December? And I'd hate to use the term monkey off your back, but had you felt any pressure to get those first picks?
To be honest, no. I don't know why. One thing I've prided myself on was just sticking to what I do best and trying to work on the things that I need help in. If it doesn't come, great, keep working. It's just really that simple. Whether you get it or not, keep working. That's always been my mindset in life. But yeah, no, it's fun. No, you realize how important it is to the team, how important it is to the defense, where you can give the ball back to the offense. I think each team maybe averages about 10 possessions a game. And if you can take 1 or 2 of those away, that's a big deal, as we saw last year. So to be a part of that, yes, it's exciting, it's fun. Everyone's slapping you on the head and on the butt, do a little dance on the sideline and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's fun. I just got to keep it moving.
And one other quick question. I know it's hard to gauge this just in OTAs, but with what the offense has added with Waddle and Fuller, your teammates with Albert Wilson for the first time since he opted out last year, the speed and elusiveness, how dangerous could that be from an offensive standpoint for you guys this year?
Yeah, I mean, as I always tell my friends, they always ask, hey, how's it looking? I don't know. On paper, everything looks great. It really takes an entire camp, those preseason games, the guys to work together and guys to kind of gel and really carve out the position on the team and really make something happen with the ball in their hands. So you don't really know what you got until you're out there, battling against another team. And we'll have plenty of opportunities this year. I think we're practicing against a couple of teams, and obviously we have the preseason games this year. So we'll see some of our talent at that point. It's really too early to say, really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Byron. Early last season, we talked sometimes about being in a different scheme and trying to refine and perfect some different techniques than you would use previously. As the season moved along in the latter parts of the season, what did you figure out in terms of how you could use this particular scheme and the techniques that are being asked of you to actually work to your advantage?
Yeah, so this team, obviously we play a lot of man, and we like to play aggressively at the line of scrimmage. And I think I learned that I can stay more square at the line of scrimmage and fight receivers a little bit longer than I'm used to. We want to make it hard for those guys because I mean every team has an amazing receiver, a great quarterback, and they're going against some of the best in really the NFL when you're going against the teams that we have. So we want to use that to our advantage. We're long, we're athletic corners, so and that's been a big linchpin in our defense is being able to play effective man coverage and being aggressive at the line of scrimmage. So using the tools at my disposal and just being confident in it and just repping it over and over again so that when it comes to game day, it's just second nature at that point.
And I have one unrelated question. How did OTAs and minicamp go from your perspective? Obviously, there was a point in time where many teams and many players publicly stated that they weren't planning to attend. And then what changed and how did it go?
I think it went really well. I think the adjustments that Coach Flo made in the offseason program was incredible. It speaks to the type of coach he is, but the type of man he is. Just the fact that he was willing to work with us and kind of describe out exactly what he wanted to get done and how he wanted to do it. He was very clear and transparent, and it was very valuable to have a coach like that kind of break things down for us. But it was great to have the guys. I think most guys were kind of missing the interaction, just being together and being around each other. And I think guys showed up, guys were attentive. They took good notes. We had really good meetings, effective meetings, and we're out here working. I just got done with the conditioning test and it looked good out there. So.
Did you pass?
Of course, man.
Thanks, Byron.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, Byron, I wanted to ask you a question about kind of a theme the last week or so with Coach Flores and his press conferences. And he's talked a little bit about the perspective that players can gain from playing multiple positions, like a cornerback playing inside and having that benefit, and also an offensive lineman. I'm wondering from your time in Dallas playing safety, how that has kind of helped you improve as a cornerback and just getting that multiple perspective on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no, it's very valuable. So, for example, like cover two, as a corner on cover two, I can be as aggressive as I want at the line of scrimmage because I do have an over the top safety, but there is a weak spot. It's called the honey hole. And if you've never been a safety, you don't really know how hard it is to get from, the numbers all the way to the sideline when the quarterback throws that dart. So as a corner, I typically carry those honey hole shots a little bit longer than most corners because I just know what it feels like to be a safety. So just being a guy, I've been in this league for now 7 years. I play multiple positions. I try to help out my guys as much as I can. I try to take as much stress off the safeties, and they try to do the same for me as a corner. I try to understand where my help is. So I play, certain leverage, inside leverage, outside leverage, depending on where my help is. And, you gain a better appreciation for the defense in its entirety when you actually understand and appreciate each position. So no, it's invaluable. And that's one thing that's awesome about some of the young guys we have on our team because they're so versatile and they're playing different positions and learning those different perspectives. So that's going to be valuable in the future and this year as well.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'm next. Hey, Byron, always appreciate you being so detailed with us and so forward with us. It's really, really appreciated. I wanted to ask you, as the team's highest player, there's always obviously some expectations with performance and leadership that kind of comes with that title. How do you think you've, done with that so far, and how do you kind of deal with those, expectations continuing to move forward, man?
Yeah, I keep it very simple for myself, man. Whether I was a rookie, a second, third year guy getting paid the minimum, or the guy who's getting paid the most, you bring your A game every single day. You really have to bring it and really build from the ground up every single day, every single year. It doesn't change. If I was a second paid player, I'm not going to change the way I approach the game or how I prepare. As an older guy, I try to be the guy that the young guys come to for advice off the field, on the field. I try to be that leader for the young guys, that linchpin in our defense and our offense, just to be that communicator, that leader that we all need. So, for me, I keep it simple. I don't overstress it. I don't think much about it. I put a lot of work in this league, and every day you kind of build from the ground up again, whether you're highest, lowest, first string, last string, you build it from the ground up every single day. It's a fun part.
Yeah. How hard is it to have that mentality when, money kind of plays a factor and in the team aspect of everything? How hard is it to kind of have that mentality?
Honestly, and that's a good question. Obviously, you saw Baker; he got a nice little contract, but nothing changes. It's not like he changed, today than he was last week. It's really simple. I mean, I think people on the outside looking in, they overcomplicate it. We're here playing football at the highest level, so we're all trying to be the best versions of ourselves, whether the money is there or not. You try to stay healthy, you try to learn as much as you can, and it really doesn't change once the money is involved. And yeah, just keep it simple for yourself. Let everyone else make it complicated.
Thanks, Byron.
You're welcome.
Hey Byron, good to see you, man. Two questions ago, you referenced, younger players. You yourself, you're heading into year 7. You've seen a lot in the league. I wanted to ask you about Noah. What's it like having him back here for, um, obviously his rookie season? Just having him back, and have you noticed any strides that he's made? To us, just seeing in practice, it seems like he's
Yeah,
making
no, he's
plays.
an incredible talent. I think the way he's approaching the game this year is going to be special. I think, to be honest, as a rookie, he balled out in camp. I was really, really impressed with the way he performed and approached the game. And he's been consistent throughout the entire season in terms of the coaching. Chuck is not easy on anybody, but he's certainly not easy on the guys he knows the expectations are very high for. And I think Noah did an incredible job at just being there, being attentive every single day, and learning and trying to put forth what Coach Chuck was wanting out of him. And he's doing the same thing this year. So he's comfortable. He understands the defense. He understands what it's like to be in a National Football League. Of course, that's a learning process for everybody. Everyone kind of learns at a different pace. But I love the way Noah's approaching the game so far.
Thank you, man. And one last follow-up is GA's presence on the group. It seems like every time we speak to him, he's very knowledgeable, and he's always, no matter who he's talking about, it sounds like he always knows what his stuff. What his impact on the group been?
No, he's awesome. He's a really good teacher, and that's one thing that's kind of undervalued. I mean, you got a lot of coaches who know their X's and O's, but he's a really, really good teacher at breaking things down very simply for us to understand in a short amount of time. And he's a guy who's played ball at a high level, so you can relate to him. He's a guy who can laugh and joke with the guys, and he's very funny, keeps things lighthearted, but he understands how important this game is, and we feel that when he speaks to us. And he's very clear with his expectations, what he wants out of us as players. So having this entire coaching staff, we have a lot of good coaches who are working their ass off to put us in the best position. And he's definitely one of those guys in there.
Hal?
Hi, Byron. In the past, we've talked to you about your activism in terms of getting people out to vote and registered to vote. And it occurs to me that we're kind of entering this dead period now where everybody has some time on their hands. What's on your radar screen? Is there any special cause or concern you have off the field that might take up your time now?
No, so I mean, this time is very football focused. In July, you're trying to build the runway to obviously glide into camp and really excel and build a season from there. But I think one thing that's great about the Miami Dolphins is the work that we do off the field. It continues throughout the year. So we just had a social impact committee meeting maybe 3 days ago, and we're strategizing on what directions we want to take throughout the season and how much work we want to do throughout the season, because our time is very valuable. And we want to use our time most effectively. So we meet about that stuff beforehand instead of kind of waiting towards the season and we get there. So we're coming up with some really dope plans that we can do and kind of get the guys involved and making it easier for everybody. And the only thing on our plate is just to execute. We have the ideas, we have what we talked about, and we're putting things in motion, but it's the execution component that's the most important thing, especially during a time where time is limited. So we have a couple of things on the way.
You want to drop any hints as to what the main focal point might be?
I think for me, it's just like going into classrooms. Hopefully, this year we can actually go into classrooms and talk to the kids, and hopefully they see my face and see that I'm more than just a football player, and they understand that life is bigger than just the sports and entertainment world. That there's, and there's an incredible lifestyle that you can live outside those realms. And like I speak, to kids often, they always talk about wanting to be a football player and a basketball player. That's great, but they don't even know that we, as the Miami Dolphins, that we have a front office, we have communication directors, we have marketing and sponsorships. You can strive to be those positions and also being around the football and in the game of ball, but not necessarily being the player itself. So I just want to shed light on that. That's what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking forward to most, is getting in front of the kids and kind of sharing to them and kind of expanding their worldview, really.
Thank you.
All right, last question. We'll go to Mike.
Byron, good morning. You described your play and you described some of your teammates. I know it's only been OTAs and one minicamp, but heading into training camp, how would you describe this defense right now?
Oh, I have no clue. Like I said, it takes a while to kind of congeal together as a team to really figure out, okay, we got some guys, or hey, we need some work here or there. But on paper, man, it's I think we have a special team, really. but it comes down to the coaching, to the systems, to the players stepping up, to the players studying and taking care of their body. And that just takes time. I'll be bullshitting you if I gave you an answer right now. I really don't want to do that right now. So give it some time, give it a couple of weeks in camp. We'll have some preseason games. We'll see exactly what we look like very soon.
Well, I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. Have a good time off till you go to training camp. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.